Do you worry that this is another risk that we face this summer? We've got the Brexit to think about, we've got lots of politics to think about more broadly across the globe, and we've got, well, potentially Greece again.
This is a clear risk. It is, however, one that can be kicked further down the road if everybody is just prepared to let it so happen. The harsh reality is that, as we all know, Greece is not going to be able to pay off the huge debts that were accumulated. The scale of the Greek economy simply isn't big enough in order to be able to do that. So at some point there will have to be debt forgiveness. And of course the key issue is how many reforms will Greece genuinely have to push through before there is a formal write-down of the debt.
When you look at what needs to happen next, you talk about debt relief. Can the Greek economy actually move on until it has debt relief? There's a sort of chicken and egg scenario here.
Yes, you can. I mean, when one thinks about debt relief, there are really three components. First of all, at what point might the capital eventually be repaid? Can you just push the maturity date into the future? And if not, so the second issue is, can you write the capital off altogether? And thirdly, can you simply have an interest rate holiday and simply say, look, guys, the debt stays there, but you don't have to service it, or if you do service it, it's at a much lower coupon.
Can I just, before Hans jumps in, but there does seem to be, I appreciate the three elements you're laying out, but there is this issue of kind of sentiment, and you wonder whether Greece, whether fresh money, real money, people wanting to make investments into Greece will actually happen until you actually see something happen on this kind of large debt pile. Yes, you can change the duration, you can change all the other things, but does sentiment actually change?
I completely agree with your challenge about who really wants to invest big money into the Greek economy, not understanding wholly what the agenda will be in terms of policy, but also in terms of whether Greece will genuinely sustain itself within the single currency.
You know, James, I'm going to do my best Guy Johnson here and bring this all back to Brexit. When you look at voters in the UK and they see maybe another round of negative headlines, not only just from Athens, but from Berlin, the refugee crisis, everything blending together, does this help the Brexit case?
I think the Brexit case is receiving quite a lot of sentiment help at the moment, but I equally anticipate that when one thinks about what will motivate the British to vote and which way, there is so much uncertainty about what Brexit would mean. I would suggest that there will be a large number of British people who will say, well, look, guys, you've not made a convincing case for what life would look like after Brexit. It's a big leap into the dark. We don't need leaps into the dark right now, so we're going to stay. So my expectation is that when all is said and done, Britain will stay within the EU.
James, plenty more still to talk about. Thank you very much indeed. James Bevan from CCLA staying with us.